Trump consultant is trolling Democrats with Biden site that isn't Biden's. Correction, June 29, 2019. This article has been revised to reflect the following correction. An earlier version of this article mistakenly included CNBC in a list of outlets that reported on a faux Biden page and linked to it, helping to boost it in search rankings. CNBC, Austin, Texas. For much of the last 3 months, the most popular Joseph R. Biden Jr. website has been a slick little piece of disinformation that is designed to look like the former vice president's official campaign page, yet is most definitely not pro-Biden. From top to bottom, the website, joebiden.info, breezily mocks the candidate in terms that would warm the heart of any Bernie Sanders supporter. There are gifs of Mr. Biden touching women and girls, and blurbs about his less than liberal policy positions, including his opposition to court-ordered busing in the 1970s and his support for the Iraq War. Pull quotes highlight. All the site says about its creator is buried in the fine print at the bottom of the page. The site, there is indeed an American behind the website. That much is unambiguously true. But he is very much. The Biden website was intended to help Democrats face facts, Mr. Malden said in an interview. He kept his name, yet in anonymously trying to exploit the fissures within the Democratic ranks. Fissures that ran through this past week's debates. Mr. Malden's website hews far closer to than typical political messaging. With nothing to indicate, Mr. Malden, who has not been previously identified as the creator of the website, said he had built and paid for it on his own, and not for the Trump campaign. But the campaign knows. Tim Murtaugh, the Trump campaign's communications director, did not directly address that issue, though he said it was great that talented supporters of President Trump used their time to help his re-election. We appreciate their efforts in their own time with parodies like this that help the cause, he added. Inside the campaign, Mr. Malden, 30, is seen as a rising star, prized for his mischievous sense of humor and digital know-how, according to 2 people familiar with the operation. He also appears. Mr. Biden's campaign knew about the fake website for months, but had not been aware of who was behind it, said T.J. Ducklow. Mr. Ducklow sought to place the website firmly in the context of Mr. Trump's own social media habits, such as tweeting doctored videos. And what he said was the president's lack of interest in measures to ensure the integrity of American elections. In addition to Mr. Biden, Mr. Malden has anonymously set up faux campaign websites for at least 3 other Democratic front-runners. Millionaire Bernie, none, though, has proved as successful as the Biden website. Mr. Malden insisted there was nothing duplicitous about it. I don't make any. It is buyer beware, and not just for unwitting Democrats. In 2017, meddling by foreigners is illegal. But trolling, or a viral hit. Unlike much of the Russian disinformation, which often has been crude and off-key, remember the Facebook ad promoting the faux Biden site has been a viral hit. Mr. Malden, from mid-March, when Mr. Malden first began promoting the website on Reddit, through the end of May, it had more than 390,000 unique visitors, according to data compiled by SimilarWeb, a firm that analyzes web traffic. Mr. Biden's of the people who found the websites through search engines, 83% landed on Mr. Malden's page, according to SimilarWeb. None of it was paid. The website's success was not accidental. Mr. Malden, in recent weeks, as search companies became aware that Mr. Malden's website was fake, it has fallen below the real Biden page. But it remains among. I know a lot of Biden supporters were furious when they saw that website, said David Goldstein, the chief executive of Tobo Labs, a Democratic digital consulting firm in New York. They suspected other. Then there were the less politically astute. In late April, how many Democrats can we red pill with my fake Joe Biden site? Mr. Malden wrote. Another post included messages from duped Democrats. One person there were even messages asking Mr. Biden not to criticize other Democrats, Mr. Malden said in the interview. They want it to be all. He was not having it. It's important by their own side, Mr. Malden meant Democrats. He is not trolling strategically. For decades, conventional wisdom in politics held that trying to undermine your opponent's base would only motivate that group to vote against you. But in 2006, with websites like the Forbidden Page, essentially you're trying to sow chaos and you're trying to basically do voter suppression, said Mr. Goldstein, the Democratic consultant. You want their supporters to get sad, to get angry, to get turned off from their chosen candidate, he continued. The way voters tend. Mr. Goldstein's firm, Tobo, tried to prove as much during Alabama's special Senate election in 2017. With targeted ads, it claimed to have driven down moderate Republican turnout by 2.5%, and conservative Republican turnout by 4.4%. Unlike Tobo, Mr. Malden makes no claims of trying to prove any concepts, and he had no intention of outing himself. When approached by Mr. Malden registered the Biden site privately so that his name and contact details would not appear in any public searches. But the Times was sipping a Crown Royal and Coke at a bar in downtown Austin. Mr. Malden bore little resemblance to the boasting troll he played on Reddit. He is slight. Mr. Malden grew up in eastern Texas, and described his political views as closest to libertarian. He studied marketing. He and his brother founded VG after helping a family friend win a state representative race. Their big break came. Mr. Malden quickly impressed. His specialty was video. In a testimonial on VG's website, Brad Parscale, Mr. Trump's 2016 digital director and now his campaign manager, called Mr. Malden an indispensable part of our digital operation in the president's first campaign. People with ties to the re-election campaign, all of whom spoke on the condition of anonymity because of non-disclosure agreements, said that Mr. Malden was brought back on retainer for the 2020 race. Mr. Malden would not discuss specifics of his role with the campaign, citing his own non-disclosure agreement. He was only slightly pressed on whether he thought they were deceptive. Mr. Malden complained that people put too much emphasis on identity instead of examining the facts themselves. He brushed off the point, Mr. Malden said, was to help Democrats see their candidates for who they were, you warts and all you, and not try to pretend that they all agreed and were in lockstep on every issue. As he sees it now, there's a party line and you either toe it or you're a traitor, he said, adding that this applied to both Democrats and Republicans. But weren't his sites encouraging Democrats to look for traitors? I mean, they could do it themselves, Mr. Malden said with a laugh. But they're not.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.